The Norse Ragnarok. Welcome to Ragnarok, the Norse apocalypse. Equal parts epic battle and cosmic reset. This Viking tale of doom begins with Fimbulvetter, a 3-year-long winter so harsh it wipes out crops, tests humanity's will to survive, and sets the stage for the ultimate showdown. Loki, the god of mischief, teams up with the giants to bring chaos to Asgard. Odin faces the monstrous wolf Fenrir, while Thor takes on Jormungandr, the world serpent. Spoiler alert, it doesn't end well for most of the gods. Odin gets swallowed whole, Thor defeats the serpent but succumbs to its venom, and Loki meets his match in Heimdall. Meanwhile, the earth shakes, the seas rise, and fire consumes everything in sight. It's destruction on a mythic scale. But here's the twist. Ragnarok isn't just about endings, it's about renewal. After the chaos, the earth emerges green and fertile, ready for a fresh start. 2 humans, Lif and Lifthrasir, survive by hiding in a sacred tree and step into this new world to rebuild. For the Vikings, this wasn't just a tale of doom. It was a call to live fiercely. They knew life, like their gods, was finite. The Mayan calendar prophecy. The infamous Mayan calendar prophecy. December 21st, 2012, the day the world was supposed to end. Or so everyone thought. This modern doomsday scare had people building bunkers, stockpiling canned food, and nervously Googling how to survive the apocalypse. But was this really what the Mayans had in mind? Spoiler, not even close. The Mayan long count calendar, used by the ancient Maya to track time across thousands of years, marked December 21st, 2012, as the end of a Baktun, a 394-year cycle. To the Maya, this wasn't a cosmic expiration date, it was more like New Year's Eve on a galactic scale. They celebrated transitions, seeing them as opportunities for renewal, not destruction. But somewhere along the way, modern interpretations spun the date into a full-blown apocalypse narrative. Books, documentaries, and even a Hollywood blockbuster turned it into a global panic party. People misunderstood the calendar's significance, turning what was essentially a celestial clock, resetting into an end-of-the-world prophecy. In reality, the day came and went without a hitch, unless you count the spike in survival kit sales. For the Maya, this date symbolized the start of a new era, a fresh chapter in humanity's journey. Their message wasn't about doom, but transformation, the biblical apocalypse. Cue the dramatic music. It's the biblical apocalypse, a fiery vision of the end times straight out of the book of Revelation. Written by John of Patmos, this prophecy is a wild ride of divine retribution, cosmic battles, and ultimate redemption. At its core is a final showdown between good and evil, with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance. The story unfolds with the opening of 7 seals, unleashing chaos on Earth. Enter the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, each bringing their own flavor of doom. Conquest, war, famine, and death. Plagues and natural disasters follow, as the world spirals into Armageddon, the ultimate battle between the forces of light and darkness. But wait, there's a twist. Evil gets the boot, and a new heaven and earth rise from the ashes. It's the ultimate reset, with the faithful rewarded and harmony restored. For centuries, this vision has shaped art, literature, and countless doomsday predictions. From medieval paintings to modern films, its vivid imagery continues to inspire and terrify. While some see it as a literal prophecy, others interpret it as a metaphor for personal or societal transformation. The Hopi prophecies. Let's dive into the Hopi prophecies, a cosmic roadmap to humanity's future. For the Hopi people, the world isn't ending, it's evolving. They believe we're living in the 4th world, which will eventually give way to the 5th. But first, a little chaos to shake things up. The Hopi shared a series of signs marking the end of this era, like the arrival of a blue star Kachina, massive natural disasters, and humanity losing its connection to nature. Sound familiar? They're not just predictions, they're warnings. The message is clear. If we don't change our ways, the earth will force us to. But it's not all doom and gloom. The Hopi see this transition as a cleansing process, a chance to start fresh. They emphasize living in harmony with nature and practicing kindness to survive the shift. It's like the universe handing us a to-do list. Clean up your act or get swept away. Kali Yuga. Step into the Kali Yuga, the last and darkest age in Hindu cosmology's cosmic clock. If the world were a 4-act play, this would be the part where everything falls apart. Greed, corruption, and chaos take center stage. Sound familiar? According to Hindu tradition, we're living in it right now. The Kali Yuga, or Age of Darkness, is a time when morality takes a nosedive and humanity strays far from its spiritual roots. Think of it as the ultimate cautionary tale. The more disconnected we become from truth and virtue, the closer we inch to the apocalypse. But here's the kicker. It's all part of a grand cycle. After Kali Yuga runs its course, the universal cycle turns to a new golden age, the Satya Yuga. The ancient scriptures don't just predict doom, they provide a guidebook for surviving it. Practices like yoga, meditation, and acts of kindness are seen as ways to endure the darkness and prepare for renewal. It's like humanity's final exam. Pass, and we graduate into a better world. Zoroastrian Frashokereti. Now let's journey to ancient Persia for the Zoroastrian Frashokereti, a prophecy of cosmic redemption. If other apocalypses are about chaos and destruction, this one's more like a spiritual makeover. In Zoroastrian belief, Frashokereti is the ultimate purification, where evil is vanquished, the dead are resurrected, and the world becomes perfect. Zoroastrianism is one of the world's oldest religions, and this prophecy has deep roots in its teachings. It begins with a final battle where Ahura Mazda, the god of light, and his forces defeat Angra Mainyu, the spirit of destruction. Fire and molten metal cleanse the earth. Don't worry, it's symbolic. And humanity emerges purified, united, and immortal. The earth itself becomes a paradise, free from decay and suffering. This prophecy has inspired countless ideas about judgment and redemption in later religious traditions. At its heart, Frashokereti isn't about fear. It's about hope. It reminds us that no matter how grim things seem, light and goodness will eventually prevail. The Great Flood. Every culture has its version of the Great Flood, a cataclysmic event where water wipes the slate clean. It's humanity's go-to apocalyptic story, from Noah's Ark in the Bible to the Mesopotamian epic of Gilgamesh, and even Hinduism's tale of Matsya, the fish avatar of Vishnu. It's like the original reboot button. Drown everything bad, save a select few, and start over. In the biblical version, Noah is tasked with building an ark big enough to house 2 of every animal and his family. After 40 days of rain, the flood subsides, and humanity gets a second chance. Similarly, in the Epic of Gilgamesh, Utnapishtim builds a boat to survive a deluge sent by the gods, offering eerie parallels to Noah's story. The Hindu narrative adds a twist, with Vishnu guiding humanity's survival through divine intervention. While these tales vary in details, the theme is the same. Humanity faces judgment, but there's always hope for renewal. Historians suggest they might reflect real ancient floods, like those caused by rising seas or overflowing rivers. The Roman Sibylline prophecies. Imagine having a cryptic guide to the future, written by mystical women called Sibyls, and used by Roman leaders in times of crisis. That's the Sibylline prophecies, a collection of riddles and verses that foretold disasters, wars, and even the fall of Rome. It's like ancient Rome's magic 8-ball, only much scarier. The Sibyls, believed to be divinely inspired, wrote these prophecies, which were stored in the Temple of Jupiter on the Capitoline Hill. Whenever Rome faced a crisis, plagues, invasions, bad omens, the priests would consult the texts for guidance. Fun fact, the collection was so revered that when the temple burned down in 83 BCE, Rome scrambled to recover or recreate the lost prophecies. But these weren't just doom and gloom predictions. They also offered advice like appeasing certain gods to avoid disaster. Over time, the prophecies became part of Rome's political and spiritual narrative, shaping decisions from war strategies to public rituals. The Doomsday Machine. The Doomsday Machine isn't a prophecy from ancient texts. It's humanity's modern invention, born from the nuclear age. Picture this. During the Cold War, the superpowers stockpiled enough weapons to destroy the world several times over, and the concept of a doomsday device emerged. It's the ultimate man-made apocalypse, a machine designed to automatically unleash global destruction if triggered. The idea became infamous thanks to Stanley Kubrick's dark comedy, Dr. Strangelove, where a Soviet doomsday machine threatens to obliterate the planet. But here's the chilling part. It wasn't just fiction. Real-world strategies, like the concept of mutually assured destruction, MAD, created a standoff where the mere existence of these weapons was meant to prevent their use. It was like keeping a loaded gun pointed at yourself and your opponent, hoping no one sneezes. The Doomsday Machine symbolizes humanity's capacity for both innovation and self-destruction. It brought about a cultural reckoning, inspiring anti-nuclear movements and cautionary tales about unchecked technological power. The 20th century saw treaties and disarmament efforts aimed at stepping back from the brink, proving that even when faced with our own apocalyptic potential, hope and diplomacy can prevail. The lesson? Sometimes we create our own monsters, but we also have the power to dismantle them. Let's keep it that way, shall we? Because nobody wants to live out the sequel to Dr. Strangelove. But everyone wants to subscribe, don't you?